What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another tutorial with FB Designs. I am Rob, your host, and today we are going to be creating this, a cool transforming text. Should be simple, should be quick, so let's get started. Let's jump on over to After Effects. We're going to create a new composition. You can name this whatever. Just try to keep neat and orderly. Again, you can make this anytime you want. For this, we'll go 6 seconds, 1920 by 1080, full 1080, 1080p. That's fine. 30 frames a second. Click OK. Next, what you want to do is you want to come on over, click your text. You can pretty much pick any font you want for this. I'll go ahead and stick with what I used in the preview. And we will type out we'll do something like this. The color, your original color, you can make these whatever you want. As we get further into it, you'll see that you could change things around. So the main part here is that you want to make sure that you highlight your text and you go to your align. If you do not see your align, you can go up here to window, make sure align is checked, and it should pop up over to the right. But make sure this is aligned to the middle of your composition. Let's take off cap locks and we'll start with that. We will go ahead and pre-compose this. We will name this text 1. Or, again, anything that helps you keep track of it. Make sure you move all attributes into the new composition. Click OK. OK. Next thing we want to do is create a new solid. Let's name this BG for background. Again, the same size of the composition. Now this, you can do pretty much whatever you want. I am going to just drop a simple ramp effect in there. Just to give it, just to break up the that old boring background. Again, you can take this as far as you want. I will go with since this one is a little green, we'll go with a darker green, like that. We'll make this something like that. Not really sure if you guys can see this right now, but I can clearly see the banding in my gradient ramp, and this is why I always tell everybody to add an adjustment layer and throw some noise on there, which we'll do at the end of this, but this is the reason why, is because of that banding. Okay, I'm going to do a radio, and then let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do the light towards the center. Of course, you can always do ramp scatter inside of your effect, and as you drag it out, you could tell it's eventually getting rid of the bands, but I like the noise method of doing this a little bit better. So we'll just go ahead and leave that alone for right now. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to go to Effects and Presets, look for Card Wipe, drag this onto our text 1. Then we're going to come on over here. We're going to make sure we're at the beginning of our timeline. We're going to set a keyframe for transition completion. We're going to go with 0. And then we'll go to about 3 seconds. We'll give that a 100%. We're going to take our rows. We're going to jack those up to about 20. Just try to keep it between 20 and 30. Otherwise, it just starts to become too much. And the same with the columns, between 50 and 55 maybe. This is where I would go with that. Take your timing, randomness, and just kind of give it an oddball between 0 to 1 and click OK. Okay, so now what we got is a little something like this. Okay, I know, not much to look at, but we want to go to position jitter, go back to the beginning of our timeline. We're going to hit it. We're going to go, let's see, our animation goes to about 3 seconds, so we'll go about midway. We'll turn this up to, I don't know, maybe 13 or so. And then we'll go to our 3 seconds. And we'll cut this down to 0. So we have something like something like that'll work. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is create a new text. This is what the FB is going to transform into. So I'm going to go with designs. Let's back out of that. Completely highlight this. Go to our line. Turn our caps lock off. Go ahead and pre-compose this. We will name it text 2. Take this, drag it behind the text 1, and we'll go ahead and turn this off. Next, we want to go back to our text 1, and we want to come up here to our back layer and pick the text 2. And there we go. As you can see, we got the start of the transition. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so now we want to start out green, but we don't want to end up green. So let's see. Let's go back to our character and let's change this to, I don't know, let's say blue. Something like that. Let's take a look at that. And you'll see where all this comes into play. And this is generally better if you keep the words about the same size. It'll look a lot better, like I did in the preview. Alright, so next what we want to do is go to our text 1, hit Control D, make a copy of it. Then we're going to go to Effects and Presets. We're going to look up Fill. And what you want to do here is just, we have green, we have blue. So let's give it a, I don't know, maybe almost a white color. We're going to go in here to our, well, first we want to take our timing and just change this a little bit. That's all good. Let's see, we want to go into our position of jitter. Make sure you're at the beginning of the timeline. We want to give an X jitter amount and we want a Y jitter amount. And then we're going to go to 3 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry about that. We're going to go to approximately halfway. Let's see where. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's halfway of our other text, so we'll go ahead and use that as a marker. Okay, so let's open these up. All right, so we're going to turn these up to 2 or 3. It's up to you. Depends really. As you can tell, what it's doing is it's splitting it up. So I'll go about 2.5, and then the same with this. We'll go about 3. Again, this all depends on the look that you're going for. And then we're going to go to our 3 second mark, and we're going to zero these out. Just like so. And then let's do a quick RAM review. And there you go. Now you can see where the other colors are starting to take place. You got your green, you got your blue, and then you got your light blue. And then you got your finish. Just that simple. Now, since we have this light colored blue, I would probably go in and change my, let's see, probably go with the blue, darker blue, maybe like that, and come and change this to a slightly, let's swap these colors around. And I think I want it a little bit darker on the outside. About like that, and probably just a smudge lighter on the inside, just so we can give your text a little bit of pop. Okay, so I mean, this is the basics of the tutorial, but you can of course take it further. And what I did in the preview was I took our copy of text 1, highlight it, right click, go to layer styles, and drop a drop shadow on that. You can come on down here to your drop shadow settings, turn the opacity up to 100%, and then you can start messing with the distance, and there you go. You see that it's starting to come off the text. I wouldn't go too far with it, and that just gives it more depth. So now if you play this back, you'll notice that the drop shadow follows all the pieces, which I think is pretty darn cool. Again, there's a lot you could do with this. You could add blurs, you could add glows, you could add, there's 1,001 things. The thing with this is you got to get in there and you got to get creative with it. Okay, so one of the last couple things I want to do is, because I spoke upon the banding, I want to do a new adjustment layer, which is what you should always be doing anyway. First off, we want some curves. We'll drop that on there. And we want to give it a little bit of contrast. So give it a nice little S-curve. I talk about this S-curve a lot. I use it a lot. And then the other thing is, let's go with a little bit of noise. Okay, where is it at in this list? I have way too much stuff. Drop it onto our adjustment layer and take an ad about, see what happens if you turn it all the way up. It almost makes it look like an old TV, but it gives it a little gritty feeling. Like it's not perfect, like it's not computer generated, I guess you could say. And always try to remember to turn off your use color noise, because then it'll give you more of a black and white, like that. Just a little bit of grain, nothing much, and it'll make your edges of your text look a little bit better. Not when you're zoomed up close to it, but you know. And here we go. Let's do a quick RAM review, and that's what you get. So I hope all of you have enjoyed this tutorial. I hope everybody out there is staying safe. I know we're going through some rough times, and just take care of each other out there. Until the next tutorial, take care, everybody.